Char Margolis, Char Communications Incorporated, and CharVision LLC do not endorse or offer for any purpose but entertainment the views of any guest or other expert on CharVision or UBN.
I knew things before they happened from the time I was a child. At the age of 8, I saw a spirit at the foot of my bed and didn't know what it was. And in my 20s, I finally realized I had a special ability that could help others. I have learned that love never dies. There is a spirit world that can communicate with us, and we all have the gift of intuition. Join me, and together we will explore the possibilities of the unknown from beyond and more. This is CharVision.
Hey everybody, it's Sunny and Char, and it's the month of May 2020, and I'm just so excited because today I have two very special guests, and it's Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, right, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. And I don't know if you guys know the story, but we'll tell it later about the prediction I did when Kelly was auditioning. But I want to get right to what's going on. It's such a difficult time for everybody with this quarantining, and people are fearful because of the coronavirus. And you guys are just so special, and people respect you. And I'm just so honored that you decided that you would do my show today, because it means the world to me.
Well, you mean the world to us, Char, as you know, and I, during this time especially, there's so much uncertainty. People are so anxious and feel so helpless. And when we were just going over in our heads, like, what should we do? How should we prepare? And it's like there's like, who do you turn to, right? Who do you turn to? And when you've planned ahead, you've got your kids. We're very lucky. We've been quarantining together, but we really reached out to you because we just needed guidance. And we wanted somebody to tell us it's going to be okay, and you're that person for us.
Well, God bless you. I'm always here for you, and you've been so wonderful to me to help other people, because I've really dedicated my work to this. So you guys have been quarantining together. I want to know what the best part of quarantining together is, and I want to know what the worst part of quarantining together is.
I don't know about the worst part, but the best part is, we spend so much time together when we are physically together. I work in Canada most of the year, but I'm home a lot. We spend a lot of time together. I mean, probably more time, obviously, now, because usually you're off to your job and then we go to do, separate things during the day, and we always reconnect in the afternoon, but it just starts a little bit earlier today, right?
I don't know. For me, the best part is that, we have 3 adult children. Our baby is 17 years old. And 2 of our kids ordinarily live out of the house. And so to have that home with us, to have them back with us in the nest, it's a wonderful feeling. It's given us sort of this new, it's extended this time where a lot of our friends are having babies and our kids are grown. And so every time we see one of their babies, we always say, "Oh, don't you wish our chickens were back in the nest?" And now we have our chickens back in the nest.
Yeah, the one silver lining is that this is definitely a unique situation, because I don't know the next time we're going to have all 5 of us together for this long.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, what's is graduating, and he's going to go off, and our freshman in college is going to be a sophomore, and then Joaquin's going to leave in a year to go to college. So this is it. I mean, this is the silver lining in the whole thing.
And also our nephew is with us, so it's really special because we have like an extra. So we're very, very lucky.
Yeah, but it's a lot of family time. We've had a couple but we've had a couple of squabbles and resolutions like families do, and it's nice though. It's like you forget how gosh, those moments were just so fleeting,
Yeah. And so how are you celebrating your son's graduation?
Oh,
We
online.
Oddly enough, just found out we just were sent an online invitation to attend the online graduation, and so yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. We're gonna log on like every other family, and we're gonna forward the invitation to the grandparents so that they can watch their grandson graduate
Next
from
week,
college,
yeah.
and that's what we're gonna do.
And he's not upset about it at all. Thankfully, he's not upset about it. So
he's a very he's just a special kid. He's always been really. He's a very kind soul. He's just a good-hearted person, and for him, to him the ceremony isn't the thing. You know, to him it wasn't about the ceremony. It was really just about, the work and giving himself a goal and finishing that goal and then moving on to his, whatever his next goals are.
God bless him. I mean, but that's really it. It's like a lot of people get married and all they want is a wedding. They don't think about living together for the next 50 years.
Yeah, that's the opposite of what we did. Yeah, so exactly. we didn't want a wedding. We wanted a marriage.
Yeah.
So, you never said what the worst part of the quarantining is, but you're so optimistic that maybe we should just stick to what the best part is.
No, there is a worst.
Missing our parents.
Not being with our parents has been really, really.
Not being with the parents.
It's been brutal for us because we're very close with us, we're family people. Yeah. So,
and I think it's probably the same for everyone else.
Yeah, we're not
through this. Is like they miss, they're concerned, they miss their parents, and then you're daily concerned because of their age, and
right.
I'm sure it's people in the States right now.
And we have one family member in particular. I won't name names, but there is one family member in particular who will not stay home.
That's not good.
Just goes to the grocery store and goes to
we survived polio.
Yeah, I'm getting all of these.
You know what? We need to sober that person up.
Maybe you can plant the seed. I don't know that it'll ever. I think that this said person just feels that they've reached a point in their life where they're not be afraid, and I said, well, you would hate to be the last faces you saw would be our faces on an iPad. I told you so. And they start listening.
Well, it's just anybody who's watching this, it's just so much more contagious than we realize. And Japan did an experiment. I don't know if you saw it. If you Google Japan on experiment, they did a thing with powder and how in like a buffet of food, and it was like really scary how it spreads so quickly. This is
what is like the worst part. That's the chronic anxiety and worry about our parents has been very.
Well, maybe we'll have you call or do a session with family member.
I would be honored, and I'd be more than happy to do that. So, it seems like some couples are closer than ever with this coronavirus thing and the quarantining, and some people are falling apart. Some relationships are falling apart. What advice would you give people to make it work? Because you guys really seem to know how to make it work.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I don't know.
It depends on the circumstances. So I often feel, I people that are maybe trapped in a marriage that was in the process of dissolving before.
Yeah, that was right? Really hard.
And now you are basically trapped together, and you really were in the process of ending things.
And you hear about how about that with certain types of relationships that can be dangerous, stuff like that. So. But in the best circumstances, say in normal circumstances, you're going to get on each other's nerves. You're going to
there's going to be things I know that I do that bother him. So what do
Right.
I do? I try not to do those things, but invariably I do them because I'm a human being. I think that the main thing is to be patient with each other. We're so patient with strangers, right? If a stranger on the street, not that I would be out on the street near a stranger, but if a stranger on the street was breathing loudly, I would not say, "Could you stop that?"
Or if a stranger was snoring next to you.
If a stranger was snoring next to me, say, I would not pinch their nose close.
I think having some perspective also right now, having some perspective about what's going on out there, really, really, really suffering, health, not only that, but financially, it's really, really, a lot of people are hurting now. So
devastating.
And then just having some perspective of, okay, so we had an argument or there's something impatience happening. Get over it.
You guys look at your cup half full, not half empty, obviously. And thank God you have each other. You're like, I don't know how you can stand looking at each other. You're so ugly, both of you.
Well, it's hard to in the morning. I wake up.
You're like the beautiful couple of Hollywood. But more important, you're beautiful inside, because I know both of you, and you're just so pure of heart and so kind and considerate, and you have such compassion for people. Mark, how do you think the pandemic's gonna affect actors now? Because
everything's on hold. Yeah. I don't know. I think if you think about it, I'm just thinking about my crew and my cast personally. On set, there's got to be close to 200 people, maybe less, give or take 30 or 40 people, all on a parking lot set inside a studio, 40, 50 people at a time. It's concerning. How is that going to change? How are they going to adjust that so it's safe for everyone? So I'm worried about that.
You're all very close.
We're all very close. I'm worried about the crew. They work so hard. They work harder than, they're there before us. They're there after us, and nothing's happening right now. So no one's getting work. So, and
Crazy.
then you move forward, and then the movie premieres or when things premiere, how is that gonna, the whole model is changing right now.
And I also think that whatever the circumstances, right? So there are people that are not, there are people like me, right? So so I'm able to work from home. You're able to work from home, right? But it's not ideal, but so we're lucky we're able to work from home. Then there are people. Difficult? Oh my gosh.
Difficult to work on remote. And do you and Ryan try to plan beforehand?
Oh, we always do. Ryan and I we're very close. We've been friends for many, many years. And so we do plan. We plan ahead. We plan every aspect of this, especially because he's on the West Coast, and so he's waking up at 5 a.m. to do this show. And I said, congratulations. When one day when you become a parent, your clock's already going to be set.
Yeah,
you get used to it. But what I was saying was that there are people that are working, and then there are people that have lost their jobs, and then there are people that have anxiety about how they're going to feed their kids. But then all of those worries go away when you have somebody that's sick in the hospital and potentially dying, right? So it's that's the thing, is like there's so much devastation that talking about like being inconvenienced at work or having like this anxiety of like what's going to happen. It's just like all we keep thinking about is how fortunate we are that right now nobody that we know, knock on wood, is affected by this right now, today.
Health-wise.
Today.
Health-wise.
we've had many friends. We've had 12 people that we know that have had this.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
kidding, but they lived.
No, they lived.
They lived, yeah. But they said it was rough.
Really rough.
Yeah.
You know, Kelly, in some ways, your job is more important than ever. Do you feel that?
Let me answer that for her because she won't speak to that. I agree. I think that what Ryan and her bring to the 3 days, a lot of joy, a great distraction, if you will, and especially now, just to stop, push pause on what's happening in the world for an hour. And you guys keep it light. You have good news stories on every day. And I agree with you. I mean, that's what I've heard a lot from people. Thank God that they're able to do the show and just give people a little distraction.
Hey, Shar, you would like this would appeal to you specifically. So we've been focusing on talking to a hero of the day, a person that is doing good in the community and giving out resources. So if you're hungry and you don't know where your local food bank is, you can call a number. Or even if you're too timid to ask for help, because most people that need help just simply refuse to ask for it because it's just how we've all been brought up, right? You don't let people know when you're suffering. So we've been trying to access that area of society that maybe people are like home, afraid, they don't know how they're going to pay their mortgage. They don't know, right? So we've been trying to feature these people that are doing amazing work in the community. But then at the end of the show, we focus on something called our good news story of the day. And I was telling Mark, this story is so amazing. This entire family got COVID. The mother, the matriarch of the family, who's an older woman, was placed into a medically induced coma. She was on a ventilator. And she said that she started having like visions or dreams, vivid dreams. I call them hallucinations. I was calling them night terrors and hallucinations. She was calling them dreams. But she was dreaming about Mark and me and Ryan. And we were all with her in the white room. We're all in the white room. And I was like, Kathy, don't go into the white room ever. Never go into the white room.
Wow.
She said I had a white pantsuit on. And I started laughing and I said it was a hallucination because I have not worn pants in 8 weeks. Like I just don't, I don't put on bottoms anymore. I only put on tops.
That's right. Right. I get that. So, Kelly, you were talking about the dream that woman had. I actually had a dream about you last week.
You did?
Really?
Yeah, but it was really a weird dream. But I have so many questions. You know what? Remind me about the dream later. I'm going to talk about
it now. Okay, wait. I'm writing it down.
School for psychics because I really wanted to ask Mark something. I wanted to ask you when you're going to be back in the studio, but you have no idea, right?
They're not entirely sure. They keep delaying the return date. We initially were told April 20th, which I thought was funny. I was like, 420 day. And I start laughing. And it's like, it's a network meeting and he knows what I'm talking about. And I was like, the pot holiday. Silence. I go, okay. Yeah, it's like a pot holiday. I don't ask me why I know that. I just know it. And then they said May 6th. Then they said May 26th. Then they said sometime after July 6th.
Right.
That's all we know.
So it's still going. It's moving.
But don't you have a hiatus? You have a hiatus, don't you?
We do. We have an August hiatus.
Yeah. Okay. So it probably won't be till after that.
Is that what you're thinking?
Who knows? That's what I'm hoping for you because I'm hoping it for you because it's like so dangerous. Okay. So Mark, I've been dying to, I talk to dead people, but I'm dying to ask you this.
Okay.
So you're on Riverdale.
Yeah.
And Luke Perry was on Riverdale. And my question is, does anyone ever feel his spirit on the set or his energy?
We definitely feel his loss.
You feel his loss?
Yeah, we definitely feel the loss of his presence.
Yeah, but do you ever feel like, do lights ever go on and off, or does someone say, "Boy, that's a sign from Luke," or
No, I can't say that I have had that.
right,
But I definitely think about him a lot in
right?
certain scenarios, and I shake my head to be like, just can't believe he's gone.
It's
It's such a
devastating.
big loss, for our Riverdale family. He was so present.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so, so, so sad. But even when you think of somebody, love is the bridge that connects us to the other side. I think that even when we remember people, it helps connect us to them in their energy and their spirit, because it's like prayer is positive thinking, and positive energy attracts positive energy, and positive thought is positive energy. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, I mean, but he's never forgotten then on that set, huh?
No, when we talked,
it's funny when you brought him up, I was like, oh my God, we were just talking about him because Mark said that the void that he left is still felt. It's still a felt void.
My feeling is he's still there.
Okay.
My feeling is he still visits, and I think everybody on the set should probably try to look for signs.
Okay.
Like, that's something he would wear. That's something he would say, or that song was his favorite, or whatever it is.
Okay.
I bet anything that there are other people, actors who worked maybe more closely with him, who played their child or spouse or whatever it is. I bet that you should ask them, and I'd love to know what the answer is, because they always get to somebody. There's always somebody. So anyway, so Kelly, I had this dream, and I have no idea what it means, and it could mean nothing. It could be psychological, but in the dream, you had a problem. You were running, but you were wearing like moccasins, or like soft shoes. And I don't know if your foot was bad or what, and one of your shoes were bad. Have you had any problem with your feet?
I mean, yes. I got injured.
She jogs on the treadmill, and the doctor shut her down.
Yeah, I was just put on. I was just taken off the treadmill.
When was this? Because this was like a week ago or something.
Yeah, it was about a week ago, and I thought that was like just such a weird dream, and I thought she must have problems with her feet or her legs or something.
Yeah. She can actually
it's all connected.
You're allowed to start jogging again, right?
Yeah, I'm allowed today. Today they said I can try like a light jog on the treadmill, because
but you need to really be careful about the shoes you're wearing.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
And don't overdo it. Yeah. I mean, if I had a dream about it, which is so bizarre, and it's true, it was a psychic dream. So I just feel like you should like just take it slow. It's better to be safe than sorry.
It's very hard, when I don't really live. I was just saying this. I was talking to a mental health expert a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how are people doing during this time? Like, what's going on? What are your clients? What do they say?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, my introverts are doing quite well, because they've been planning for this all their lives.
Right.
And Ryan and me are both like public extroverts, but we're very introverted. We don't really go anywhere. We go to our job, we go to the gym, and we come home, and that's pretty much it. You're much more extroverted anyway. But I was saying that my life has not really changed at all, because I mean, I'm not going to the studio, and I'm not going to the gym.
Your social life.
But my social life is exactly the same. Like, this is how it is. And so what's weird is that, because I realized I spent so much energy in my dance classes that I used to take, and they're gone, that I've been trying to find something, like a way to let the energy out, and it's
Right.
She's like a show pony or a racehorse. She needs to be lunged. A beautiful,
Right.
filly, a
I'm
beautiful
like,
filly,
I'm like a
beautiful
horse.
filly.
Did he just call me a horse?
Yeah, but you know, I love that he used that. I love that he used that analogy because I've had horses. I rode horses all my life, and I used to have a lunge line, and I used to train my horse around that. So I totally understand what he's
They
saying.
need to be lunged, right? They need
Right.
to run.
I totally get it. So okay, so Kelly, do you mind telling the story just briefly about how we met and the audition?
Sure.
And then we're going to get into School for Psychics.
So I did not realize I was even auditioning. You have to understand, I was Regis Kathy Lee had left the show, and Regis Philbin was looking. I guess they were looking to replace Kathy Lee.
Uh-huh.
Now, you recall, I loved Kathy Lee. I still do, more than anything. And when she left, I vowed I would never watch. I was like, I'm never watching this show again. It's gone. This show is done.
We'd watch the show in the hair and makeup room of all my children.
Yeah.
ABC was always on because that was the network show.
And they made fun of me when she left, and I'm sobbing. Like her final show, I'm sobbing, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Kelly's not going to make it." Anyway, so I wasn't supposed to be there the day you were there.
Oh.
There's supposed to be another actress there, but at the last minute, like the day before or 2 days before, her mother got sick. She couldn't be there. So they asked me as a last minute replacement to fill in for the replacement. So they were like, so somebody else was supposed to be there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they asked me at the last second. And so there I am. Now, Mark and I had been trying for about 3 years to get pregnant, and we were having terrible luck. Terrible luck. So when we finally did get pregnant with who would become Lola, we did not whisper a word of it to anybody because we were just so nervous to get our hopes up. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we didn't want to jinx it. We didn't want anything bad to happen. And, you know, we were one of those people, we waited until, you know, after the first trimester anyway, with Michael, our older son. Like, we didn't tell anybody until, So here I am, very newly pregnant. We had just found out. We were so excited, but very cautious. Mm-hmm. And you came on the show, and they said, do you mind, it's psychic week around here, do you mind if a psychic gives you a reading? And I said, oh, sure. And then I was like, I don't believe in psychics, but sure, I'm fine with that. And so you came out and you said, I'm getting the letter D now. And you said, your grandmother is here. Her name begins with a letter D. Now, what you didn't know, but what I knew, was that her name was Esther, but all of her friends called her D. That was her nickname. But I said no, because I was like, I'm just going to be accurate. And I said, well, no. I sort of went, no. And you said, is it an E, like Esther? And now I'm stunned. But I thought, and this is, by the way, pre-Google. Remember, this is like before all of this.
And plus, you didn't know she was going to be on the show.
And you didn't know I was going to be on the show. So now you say Esther, and I say yes. And then you said, she's telling me that you're going to have a baby. Now Now
I'm watching this. We lived in New Jersey at the time. I'm watching this live, and I'm having my oatmeal. And I went, my jaw dropped. I'm like, oh my gosh.
And I'm sobbing.
And now I'm sobbing at home.
And it was, it was one of those things that I lost my grandmother so early, but we lived together. We all lived together. She was such a young woman when she died. And she was an extraordinary woman. She was a career woman before that was a thing.
Wow.
And she graduated college at the age of 17. She was a very advanced person. Or no, she entered college. She skipped grades. She was like very young when she graduated college, like way younger than our son is. Anyway, so we were very close.
Mhm.
And when she died, here's what's so crazy about the whole thing is that right before she died, I said to her, please don't die, Grandma. We were taking a family trip, and we were going to be, since we lived together, we were going to be away from her for a week. And I don't remember any of this. This is like retold to me over the years. I remember saying to my grandmother, please don't die. And then my parents yelled at me because they were so mortified that I said these words out loud.
Oh my.
Yeah. So I never really mentioned it again. But according to my mom and my dad, because we drove in the car to Disney World. It was our first ever vacation. And we drove it took like 2 days to get there, 2 days to get home. We spent 2 days there. It was like a brand new thing. They just opened Disney World. And according to my parents, the entire ride there, I cried and said, we have to get home. Grandma's going to die. We have to get home. And then they cut their trip short. We wound up cutting the trip short because I didn't want to be in Disney World. I wanted to get home. And the whole ride home, I kept saying, are we almost there? Again, I don't remember any of this. When we get home, sure enough, the worst had happened. And then my parents said that priests kept coming to the house to talk to me about my grandmother. But it's funny that you said like signs and symbols, because for about, I don't know how many years, for several years after my grandmother died, she would come to us. And we would be sitting just on the sofa, and all of a sudden, she wore Shalimar. It was a very distinct smell, Shalimar. Yes. And
terrible.
But she would waft, we could smell her. We would smell our hands and smell our clothes and smell the sofa, and then it would be gone. So she would come and she would go. And it was always it was such a great feeling. But then one day she stopped coming, and we started saying gee, I haven't heard from Grandma in a while. And I think it's when my grandfather died is actually when she stopped showing up, I think.
Right. I think you're probably right. Which takes us in for School for Psychics.
Okay.
Which I believe everybody's intuitive and everybody's psychic. And I know for a fact that both of you, because I read about this, when you met each other, it was like love at first sight. You both knew that this was the person you wanted to live your lives with.
I knew. I don't think he knew.
Did you know?
I just didn't think I had a chance to
But you were overwhelmed with her, like you were smitten.
Yeah, of course. I was, oh my gosh, smitten.
Yeah. But Kelly intuitively knew that this is it. I don't have to go any further. I don't have to look any further. This is the guy I want. And Mark, you probably just because you didn't feel like you had a chance, you didn't realize that this was going to be the woman of your dreams, but you wanted it.
Sure. Soon after we spent time together, like in the next.
So I always say to people, remember the time when you wanted something. Maybe it was a business deal. Maybe it was a romance. Maybe it was a friendship. And you get this gut feeling that says, you know what, don't do it. It's not a good idea. But you start talking to the person and there's a connection and you start communicating in some way. And so you don't listen to that feeling. You go along with whatever it is, and then you suffer the consequences. Has that happened to you?
Yes.
Many times, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Many times. And we will look at each other, and I'll say, remember when, and right? There's so many times I'll say, remember when I thought that was a bad idea? I was right. Or he'll say, remember? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's your psychic ability. That's your intuition. I call that psychic at random. Everybody's intuitive. Animals have instinct. People have intuition. So when you get those feelings again, the most important thing is to act upon it. You know, that's the hardest thing. I always call it the 4 C's. You have to have the courage to do it, the confidence to go along with it, commit yourself to focusing on it, and conquering it by acting upon it. So from now on, when you get those feelings, it's really important to listen to it. Mark, did you think she was a witch?
No, but you know, I believe in what you're talking about. I really
right. And because you've had the exact same experiences.
I've had experiences like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And also maybe there was a time when you really did want something and your gut said, yes, go for it. And that maybe was Riverdale, or I don't know. What experience have you had that you really went for it and it was right?
Oh my
Gosh, so many. No, so many. You know, I will say one thing that you were talking to Kelly right after she got the job on live, and you mentioned you saw me in a military.
Yes.
You saw something with me. You say, I see. You saw something military coming up for me, and like within like a few months, I got a job. My first movie was a war film.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Oh my God! Thank you for sharing.
Afraid to talk to you. I wouldn't talk to you. I was a little concerned. I was afraid.
Yeah. He was afraid. Like he feels. I'm not going to speak for you, but at the time you felt like, I don't want to know when I'm going to die. I don't want to know. And I'm like, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. Usually it's somebody coming back to visit you. Like sometimes you'll get a very overwhelming sense of, like we were just talking recently, we lost a dear friend of ours, and Shar, when you brought up his name, it sucked our breath away. But then when you didn't just mention him by name, you said, he's showing me the ducks. Is there something to do with ducks?
And I heard about that. Yeah.
I used to tell him this story about my childhood. I grew up, we had 2 pet ducks. My sister and I had 2 ducks named Captain and Tennille. And they died very tragically. Over the death.
It's a horrible story.
It's a horrible story, but it's actually it's funny in hindsight. But at the time, it was devastating. And they were eaten by a raccoon. But it was my fault because I was supposed to put them in their little enclosure. But it's hard to wrangle ducks. Have you ever tried to wrangle ducks? They don't.
I had Tchaikovsky and Beethoven.
Oh, you did? Okay. So you understand, like.
But he loved that story.
He loved that story. He would say it. He'd be like, "Tell me the ducks. Tell me about the ducks." You said, "John is here," and then you said, "He's showing me ducks." We were like, "What?"
So random. Random for someone who's just sitting there listening to it, but not random to us.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do this work as an example of what everybody else can do. Everybody's psychic, everybody's intuitive, they're psychic at random, like when you get those feelings about things and then you follow through on it or you don't, you suffer the consequences. Or now psychic on demand is the hardest part, and that's what I do with clients every day. I read for people practically every single day, and I teach intuition. And I really feel like it's my purpose on the earth. And you're both very creative people. And I always say that, you know, we all have an opportunity to connect to the essence of wisdom and goodness and love and God, that there's a knowledge there that we all can connect to. And when you're creative and you're both actors, even when you're just living on, you know, every single day on that show, doing the talk chat, I mean, that's hard. And so it's almost like you go, oh yeah, you know, that was pretty good. How did I do that? So what I'm trying to teach you today is to get out of the way of your own thinking and let the information come through you, not from you. So I always say a prayer protection before I do this, which I did before we started, just so you know, because as in everyday life, there's good and bad people. In the spirit world, there are positive and negative energies. And I'm very, very careful. I've been doing this 47 years, and I'm very, very careful to make sure only pure goodness and healing and positivity is around us. So the only way that I really know how to teach sometimes in a situation like this is for you to read for me. And I will be totally honest with you about, I mean, I have nothing to hide. So, but you can't think logically. You can't think, oh, you have to like sometimes you'll get an initial, sometimes you'll get a name, sometimes you'll just get a feeling about something. So just let your minds go blank.
Okay.
And feel my energy. It's like your nerve endings go out to my nerve endings, and you're going to feel my energy. And then just, you know, you might see a piece of food. I mean, you might see something that seems crazy. Like when I had that dream, I went, oh, whoa, I don't know if I should tell her about her feet. So it's let your mind go blank, and just whatever the first thought that comes to your head, it's like a thought that pops in your head. It's not a thought you think. So
I'm thinking your fingers are in milk and the name Jason. I don't know why.
What? Wait, say that again. My fingers are what?
Your fingers are in milk.
Okay, that's crazy. I never buy milk, and I just bought milk, and I've been cooking with it. I've been baking, and I've been making things with milk, which is ridiculous because I never buy milk, ever. Now, Jason is amazing because Jason is one of my dearest people in the world. He's my great nephew who I am cuckoo crazy about.
Were you making cheesecake?
Well, you're close. That's crazy. I was making yesterday for the first time. It's like I'm totally gaining weight during this thing. But I made a cake. And then I'm making, I made a thing with cheese yesterday, a cheese thing that I never made before in my whole life.
That's what I came up with, cheesecake, before she started talking about.
It's crazy. Okay, you guys are like really good at this. Wait a second. Don't be too good because you'll steal my job. So.
No, but you're like, I don't know, you have like a special thing. I don't know. I can't quiet my mind ever, but when you tell me to, somehow I quiet it.
But when you see Jason, so then what you want to do is be nosy, and you go, why am I getting Jason? Or what's beyond that? Are you feeling anything about him? Because well, go ahead.
Well, here's what I'm feeling, because your fingers went into the milk and the word Jason appeared. And as the word Jason appeared, your fingers in the milk started making like a tie-dye, almost like tie-dye, like swirling colors.
You're crazy. You're freaking me out. And I'm going to tell you why. I couldn't find the spray to like 409 or whatever that stuff is, because they're out of it. And all I could find is this Clorox spray. And I didn't realize it, but it's bleach. And I put it on my shirt that I love, and it's bleached it. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to spray different parts of it and make a tie-dye. I swear to God, I'm not bullshitting. I swear to God.
Can I change my thing when you ask if I think she's a witch or not? Can I change my...
You're so cute. Oh my God, you guys are just so adorable. Okay, that's crazy. I mean, I should go get the shirt for you, because I'm going to tie-dye it with bleach.
It's just so funny to me though, because it's like when you think about like, you're like, okay, close your mind off. And I'm like, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. We have a hard time sometimes meditating, right?
Well, I meditate.
He meditates, and I move all around and I stare at him, and then I move, and he's like, okay, you need to meditate. You need
to turn it off.
But it was weird, because as soon as you said clear your mind and think of the first thing that pops into your mind, that's just, to me, the weirdest thing ever, but it was very vivid. It was a very vivid, like I can still see.
Because you are naturally intuitive, and you both are great together, because sometimes people are batteries for us. And I think you guys are first of all, I feel like you guys are soulmates.
Aww.
And I feel like you guys are a battery for each other.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, you complement each other so amazingly well. First of all, you both get A's. That cheese thing is crazy. I swear I just made it. You're free. And I haven't baked a cake maybe since home ec class, and I just baked a cake.
Well,
yeah, the
because
word cheesecake came to my
the
mind.
pandemic is making us all
Very
eat
hungry.
carbs.
Right?
Carbs.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Carb diet.
We're like, we're not gonna have dessert tonight. We're not gonna have anything sweet. We will let's say that's not gonna happen. And then by the time dinner comes around, we're
Yeah.
Like, okay.
You know what? You just have to, but don't overdo your foot, okay? And
I'll be careful.
and I'm just so grateful for you guys to be here and to share your own intuition and your own experiences. And I am more than happy to read for your family person who you're upset with, because maybe I can bring something up that'll scare them into sobriety or something.
This person will be your biggest challenge.
Okay. I guess I know who it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know you guys have to go.
This person, by the way, always asks if I see them. It's funny. This person asks me because they think that I have some sort of psychic ability, and they always ask me if it's their time.
Oh God, that's crazy.
Well, thank you for having us.
Are you kidding? I've had so much fun. It went so fast. You guys know I'm always here if you need anything. And I just want to know one more thing. Does Lola think it's like crazy? Like, does she think it's freaky that I picked up on that pregnancy, or does she think it's a freak show?
No, I think she wants to talk to you. She's got lots of,
Okay, well, let's make plans. And I've known her since
life questions.
I've known her little spirit before she even came on the earth. I love you guys. I love you. My prayers are with you, and stay well, and God bless you. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
God bless you.
Stay safe.
You be safe too.
Thanks.
Awesome. Bye, Char.
Bye.